So the other day I made a worst of the fitness industry video on Greg Doucette, and him and his fanboys are coping hard with the realization that Greg is a lying moron. And I guess we'll start with Greg Doucette. He left a comment on my video saying, "I don't have the time to watch this other than to say nobody cares." So Greg, I find it very hard to believe that you didn't watch my video, you didn't care about anything I said in this video, yet you still cared enough to leave a comment. If you didn't watch the video, you don't care, then why did you leave a comment in the first place? It almost sounds as if you know that I exposed you as an idiotic liar with irrefutable proof. You have nothing to say that could possibly save your reputation, so you're just trying to come up with the most stupid excuse possible so that you don't feel pressured to make an actual response and have to admit you're wrong, admit you've been lying about people. And Greg, I know for a fact you're lying. I know you watch my videos. I know you've watched this video in particular, even though you're claiming you haven't. Greg's ego is out of control and he obsesses over people who criticize him. And here's proof of this. Just a few days ago, I made another video about Greg Doucette where I was criticizing his training recommendations. That video got very few views. Barely anyone watched it. It only got about 11,000 views. Greg still bothered watching the entire thing, even though it was almost 20 minutes long. He left a comment responding to every major criticism I made. Now, his response was stupid. It was filled with lies and bullcrap. But clearly, still, he bothered watching the video in its entirety, bothered responding, even though no one cared, no one watched it. But now I'm supposed to believe that when I upload a video that gets way more views, it's at 3 times the amount of viewership now, that has way harsher criticisms against him, yeah, Greg would just make this exception where somehow just suddenly he doesn't care anymore. Sure, Greg, no one's buying this. If you actually watch the responses, like read the responses to Greg Doucette's comment, he is getting ratioed hard. No one's buying this. Everyone just knows Greg is making up this lie so that he can come up with some excuse not to admit he's a lying moron. So even though I provided irrefutable proof that Greg Doucette is a lying moron, and even Greg himself has made this even more transparently obvious, Greg's fanboys are still trying to cope. They just can't face facts, and there's a lot of comments on my video still trying to defend Greg. So figured I'd respond to some of these, and this first one is just beyond stupid. Anyone notice how he challenged Greg to a debate but not a cage fight like he usually would? He knows better than to challenge someone that would actually give him a hard fight. Okay, I don't think an Oompa Loompa would stand a chance against me. But Greg, if you want to disappoint your fans anymore, come fight me in a cage or a boxing ring. I'd be more than happy to kick your ass. Greg is so terrified of me, he won't even face me in an online debate, so it's hard for me to imagine that he'd be fine with getting his ass kicked in a boxing ring or in a cage. But yeah, sure, Greg, if you want to embarrass yourself any further, I'd be more than happy to beat your face into the ground in an MMA match. It'd be great. So I'm not going to read out this entire comment because most of it's gobbledygook, but this first part I thought was kind of worth responding to. I watched the clip. He has not instructed beginners to train to failure. He said that himself. He trained to failure when he grew up, when he started lifting, so maybe he meant that he did that at the age of 12 to 13. Okay, I don't know what it is with Greg Doucette fans, but they just refuse to acknowledge that Greg has said stupid things that are just demonstrably false, that he's contradicted himself multiple times, and that he has changed his stance on some things just based on some of the criticism he has received. So no, in Greg's video, he said that he trained to failure when he was growing up and when he started training, and there was clearly a very strong suggestion that everyone should train that way with the way he was screaming.
Oh, but I'm natural. I can't train hard because I might be sore. I'm natural. I can't do it. Greg, you're on that there test stuff. You're on creatine. Me, crybaby. Frig off. Just shut up, you natural pussies. I train natural longer than 99% of you. How did I train when I grew up? A lot of people ask me. I went all out, harder, all out. Squats, 425 for 10. I'm going for 11. If I can get 11, I'm going for 12. Half the time I couldn't even put the weight back on the rack because I go all out. That's how you train.
And then Greg later went on to specify that this advice to train all out to failure every session is advice he gives to everyone. Everyone. And I'm assuming by everyone he means everyone, including beginners?
This is what I tell everyone. This is how you know you're training hard. For $1,000 per rep, how many more reps would you get? They're usually, my clients will answer, I don't know, like 2 or 3 more. I'm like, it wasn't all out then. How hard was it? Oh man, it was hard. For $1,000 a rep, how many could you have gotten more? Well, probably 2 or 3, 5, I don't know, for $1,000. It should be 0. You should be training on every hard set as if you're being paid to go all out. That's how you train.
So no, Greg has advised beginner lifters to train all out to failure every session. There's no denying this. There's video proof of him saying it, so I don't know why his fanboys keep trying to defend him and deny that he's ever said this when I've literally provided video proof of him saying it. So to be fair, though, he has walked back his claims. He has now changed his stance to say, no, beginners shouldn't train to failure. It's not practical for them. It's not useful. But this creates a contradiction because he said that you shouldn't use things like RPE or RIR because it makes you train like a pussy. It prevents you from training hard enough. But then he also says that you have to approximate failure so that you don't train too hard. So at the same time he's saying you shouldn't use autoregulation methods like RP or RIR, he's saying you should use autoregulation methods like RP and RIR. And he's also made ridiculous claims about RP and RIR for advanced lifters, where advanced lifters shouldn't use it, even though autoregulation methods like RP and RIR are even more important for advanced lifters because they get way more fatigue and way less stimulus from training. So using something like RP, which allows you to maximize stimulus and minimize fatigue, it's even more important for advanced lifters. This is something that Greg has not been able to provide a response for. Every time I challenge him to a debate on this topic, he just ignores, tries to dodge, and it's because he knows his beliefs are stupid, self-contradictory, and he's just going to embarrass himself again, just like in his debate with Mike Israetel. I don't know why his fanboys can't accept this, but guess what? Greg is wrong sometimes. He's wrong about RPE, RIR, and the utility of training to failure. Simple as that. And I've also been seeing a lot of these types of comments, just appeals to authority. Do you debate NFL players on how to play football? Greg is literally an IFBB pro, and you're just an average guy with a dad bod moving average weight that people can get after training for 1 year. You can try to fluff up your argument, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the results, man. So this is probably the most common, stupid comment I've been seeing from Greg Doucette fanboys, and I think that says a lot about the cognitive capabilities of Greg Doucette's audience. But again, this is just an appeal to authority. So yeah, just because you can find somebody who's genetically gifted, who's admittedly on steroids, who gets good results from doing stupid shit, that doesn't mean that stupid shit is good advice. That doesn't mean that stupid shit advice is going to work for you. Sure, go ahead. Don't listen to me because I don't look like a roided up IFBB pro. Listen to Greg Doucette, train every session to failure, see how that works out for you. I've been getting great results using evidence-based training, and if you'd rather listen to a moron on steroids, good for you. See how that f***ing works. It's funny how you people will say, I have a dad bod, I look like crap, I'm weak. Let's see you, jackasses. Let's see you post physique updates. Let's see you outlift me. None of the morons leaving this stupid comment look anywhere near as good as me and lift anywhere close to me. So go f yourself. And again, if Greg wants to debate me on any of these issues like RPE, RIR, autoregulation, the utility of training to failure, I'd be more than happy to do it. He's not going to because he knows he's a lying moron, and he knows if he debates me, I just embarrass him. So, so much for being an IFBB pro bodybuilder. It seems like it doesn't really count for shit now, does it? And I don't know why some of his fans think I'm afraid of fighting him, or that they think he could take me on in an MMA match. So I don't know if Greg wants to fight me, I guess we can do that. And yeah, links to all my crap are in the description. I kind of want to end this video. If you want vegan pet food, description, clothing, description, online training, description, my wife's OnlyFans, my OnlyFans, description. Good night.
What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.